Santorini is a small volcanic island in the middle of the Aegean Sea in the Mediterranean, which is counting 35 centuries of non-stop viticulture and winemaking history. This is a very long tradition which was born out of necessity after the volcano erupted in 1613 BC. Historically, there have been more than 25 different grape varietals recorded as indigenous to the island, the dominant one always being Assyrtiko. And the most important thing that one has to remember about farming on Santorini is that we do not irrigate our vines. This is a region which is entirely dry farmed. This was also born out of necessity. There is no source of fresh water on Santorini, so the original inhabitants of the island had to find a way to dry farm their grapevines. Assyrtiko represents 85% of the island's production, and this is what we're mostly famous for: dry white wine and sweet white wine made with this grape or made with blends heavily based on Assyrtiko. So we're talking about a region which is entirely self-rooted, ungrafted, and from biological aspect, the DNA of our vines is pretty ancient. One more thing is the way that we prune our vines, which is also unique, not used in any other region of the world, technique that we call coulura. So practically we prune our vines in baskets, a way of pruning which serves three main purposes on the soil of Santorini. First of all, it allows you to keep the entire vine close to the ground, therefore allowing it to absorb the moisture that sets up on the soil at night. Second purpose that our way of pruning serves is protection from the sunblasts, because the Aegean Sea is a very windy region. Third reason why we're using this coulura training system is to protect our grapes from the sun, from heat waves that typically affect us in July, because our grapes grow in the shade, protected from the sun as well. So these are lava rocks, black ones and red ones, but what's most important are these tiny pumice stones. Pumice is so light because actually it's porous, so it absorbs the moisture that sets up on the soil at night, locks it up, keeps it there, and when the sun rises next morning, that moisture starts to evaporate. Us keeping the vine close to the ground, we allow it to absorb that moisture evaporating from the pumice stones, and this is the only water that these vines practically see for the span of their life. What we need to remember about our dry farmed Assyrtikos is that the wines produced from those grapes are wines of high acidity and high alcohol at the same time. This is pretty rare to find in the world of white wine. Typically one would expect high acidity from colder regions of the world. Santorini is both a warm region and a region producing acidic wines. These wines, combining these two features together, make Assyrtikos wines which are resistant to time and travel, and that's why Santorini became famous since ancient times, because the wines traveling around the Mediterranean would reach their destination in a very good shape. That's when Santorini built its reputation. Today, Assyrtikos, the dry Assyrtikos, are known for their austerity, their wines with intense taste and flavor, not very fruity, not aromatic, known for their mineral character, which is of course a generous offer from the volcanic soil of the island. Alcohol for local wines is typically anywhere between 14 and 15%, which is at the higher end for dry wines, and combined with the acidity gives you a wine which is of course refreshing and easy to drink by the glass, but typically it's even nicer when paired with typical and classic dishes of the Mediterranean cuisine.